Hello CSE 205 students. I'm going to demonstrate the ConsoleMenu programming assignment. Basically what we have here are two classes. You have to create two classes, a class menu and a class menu item. A class menu is responsible for displaying and processing the menu, and then the menu object itself is made up of a collection of menu item objects. And for this particular assignment, I am requiring you to store the menu item objects in an array list. There's a third class that has to be created, and that is one that you use to test class menu and class menu item. And I've gone ahead and implemented the assignment and I'm going to demonstrate it to you in this video. When it comes to testing your classes, you can go ahead and use my test program if you want to. I'm making the code available. This particular menu just kind of demonstrates that everything is working. The system administration menu, that's the title. The equal signs underneath that is an underline. And then the client added menu items, add user, delete user, change user, and so on. The menu program itself numbered them. A menu item that has an asterisk in it has been disabled. Basically, the user can toggle between enabled and disabled menu items. And right now, the menu object is blocking, waiting for the user to enter a choice. So I'm going to type in a 1 and press enter, and you can see the program says adding user was selected, and then the menu is redisplayed, and now we're waiting for the user to make another menu item choice. There is no specific application for this programming assignment. The purpose of the programming assignment is to create menu objects and menu item objects that clients can use when they have an application that requires some form of menuing. They'll be notified that the user selected add user, and then they will provide the functionality for adding a user. So I'll do number 2, and you can see it says deleting user. We'll do number 5, calculating disk usage, and so on. I'm going to type in a 7 to exit this particular menu, and my test program creates a second menu object. The title test menu changes. By default, the character that's used to underline the title is the equal sign. And this particular part of the program is testing the instance methods that are in the menu item and menu classes. One of the things that the client can do is they can change the underlying character to whatever character they want. If I choose option 1, I change the underlying character to asterisks rather than equal signs. If I choose number 1, it sets it back to the equal signs. We can change the change title enabled flag, meaning if I type in a 2, right now the user can change the title. But if I type in a 2 and press enter, well, now you can see that the change title, which was option number 3, has an asterisk in it, meaning that that menu item has been disabled. If I type in a 2 again, now the user can change the title. If I type in a 3, that gives the client the opportunity to put a new title in there, and you can see it's now saying look at this new title. Option number 4 enables the client to remove a menu item, and so the remove this menu item has been removed, and then we can type in a 4 and get that back. So you can insert menu items into the menu any place that you want. You can add a menu item. That just causes the menu item to be put at the end of the list. You will notice, however, in this particular case, that the added menu item comes up in a weird spot after the done. It is basically going to be the client's responsibility to toggle, the done menu item. If they want it to stay the last menu item in the menu, they're going to have to remove it and then add it after they add a new menu item. I thought about putting a flag into the menu item object where the client could say, hey, this is always going to be the last menu item, and if you add, then add just prior to this last item, but I did not put that in the specification and I did not program that. So anyway, if I type in a 7, we're done and the program is exited. I'll just pop up the code briefly here. I don't want you to see too much of my menu item code. You could pause the program and look at that, but I don't think you should. There's the first menu that the program displayed, and you can see the add, delete, update, change, VU, DF, unused, exit. Those are the menu item IDs that get passed back to the client based upon the choice that is made. There you can see my variable storing the title of the menu. We then are instantiating menu item objects. To instantiate a menu item object, we have to pass the menu item ID and then the label that gets attached to the menu item. And if you look down, you will see unused.set enabled false. That's where we're basically disabling a particular menu item. Later on here in the code, we are instantiating the menu object itself. The only thing you have to pass is the title of the menu, and then we are adding the various menu items. The initial programming assignment had the ability to put separators into the menu. I think the idea of separators is a good one. However, from a implementation perspective, it kind of was a bit complicated, so I took the separator out, but it would be nice to put it back in there. The menu class has a method named activate, and you pass it a print stream object. That's where the menu gets displayed. Most of the time it's just going to be system.out. The activate menu displays the menu and waits for the user to type in a choice. And then based upon the choice, it returns the menu item ID back to the client. And in this particular program, I'm storing the menu item ID in a variable named option. And in this case, we're just kind of demonstrating that things are working correctly. Here comes along the second menu. So there are the menu item IDs for the second menu. You'll notice that they're sequential numerically, but they don't have to be. They just have to be unique. And there is no, you don't have to protect against dupes. If there's dupes, that's the client's responsibility to ensure that there are no dupe menu item IDs. And then we're instantiating the menu items. We're creating our new menu object, and then we're adding the menu items to that particular menu. We then call the activate method to activate the menu. The program will block until the user types something in. When they type something in, the return value is the menu item ID. And so we're switching on the menu item ID, and then again testing the instance methods that are defined in the menu class and the menu item class. So in this particular case, you can see we're testing the ability to change the underlying character. And then, where did my there? And then here we're testing to see if we can toggle the enabled flag. Here we're testing whether we can toggle the title. And notice also we have get enabled get title, so we're testing getter methods too. We're trying to make sure that the code for all of the methods that are in the menu class and menu item class are being tested. And there's the remove, insert, and then the add. And that right there is the driver program, which this particular code, the code for class M, I've made that available on the website. The write-up for the assignment has a hyperlink to it. You can use that if you would like. Up above are my implementations of class menu and class menu item. And when you read the specification, one of the things that it says in there is that the menu class has an instance method named display, which is responsible for displaying the menu, and then it has the activate method. And in a nutshell, the activate method uses display. It calls display, but then it handles the prompting for the choice, getting the input into the program, and converting the selected choice into the appropriate menu item ID, which is then the return value for the activate menu. One thing I'd like to point out, that display method that is in the menu class, when it displays menus, when it's displaying the menu items, it is updating, or it is setting the menu item ID for that particular choice. So the display method is going to say choice 1, but then for that particular menu item, it's going to use a setter method to update the menu item ID for that particular menu item. So the idea is that the activate method reads in a choice, and then it maps that choice to the appropriate menu item ID. So anyway, I guess that's all we want to do here with this particular video. Yeah, well, I'll ask you during class if this video was of any help, and if it was, then maybe we'll do more of this type of stuff. So I'm going to end this movie. See you in class someday.